Now, we were just given some infinite wisdom from three members of the Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District. Each person talked about their own feelings about things and affairs, if you will, at the school level, as you know, their point of view is given from a paraprofessional, administrator, and associate principal. I think that they, all of them, did have their hand on the pulse of the school. I think they all recognized and did understand exactly what the school, the campus vision is, what it was, and what it's going to be. The campus acknowledges, recognizes, and celebrates those who implement strategies by allowing different teachers that use different strategies that work in the classrooms. They're allowed to share their methods with their colleagues. And, this is done by one, core teachers, such as math teachers, all have the same lunches. Science teachers, all disciplines have the same lunch schedule, so they're allowed to eat together and share different experiences and different things that go on in the classroom. So they're allowed to, iron sharpens iron, if you will. They're allowed to be a sounding board for each other of strategies that work and don't work. And once things like this are discussed at many of our staff meetings, faculty meetings, or our professional developments, the teacher that has the best strategy, or one of the strategies that work, that they're allowed to share their system, their strategies with the entire campus. So, the nuggets of information are given to all the teachers across all subjects and disciplines, and, they're influenced, or, they're told to try these things if they're having a difficult time with a concept, or even with troubled students. So I think by allowing these teachers to share their ideas with the entire staff is one way of celebrating and recognizing, hey, this teacher has a strategy that works. They're implementing something that I think everyone can implement in the classrooms. Now, the contributions and achievements are communicated to the staff, students, and the community on the marquee. A lot of the good things that go on inside of the school are shared with the community. The community hears about the Spotlight Teacher of the Month, the Student of the Month, even such things as the Fred Award are shared with the community on the bulletin board or the marquee. Fred Award, to elaborate on that, there's a book study that we did on campus called The Fred Factor. It told the story of a mailman that went above and beyond the call of duty. He did things for his customers that he didn't have to, nor was he paid for, nor did he even receive accolades for, but going above and beyond the call of duty, doing that little bit of extra to make the person that you're dealing with, make their lives a little bit easier. And from that book study, the campus began to give out Fred Awards to teachers who their colleagues see them doing more than they have to throughout the day, going above the call of duty, doing a little bit extra to help the campus culture. The Fred Awards are given out to teachers on a weekly basis, and they're given to students as well. Now, teachers nominate students, and students nominate each other for the Fred Award. I think this is a way of effectively communicating these achievements and contributions to the staff, the students, and the community. How's the campus used innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience? I think that everything is a learning experience. If you do something and it's successful, I think that as an educator, you try to duplicate that. If it works, you continue to do it. If it doesn't work, well, you studied, you go back and you revisit it, and try to understand why it didn't work, and you try to fix, what the problem is. And the campus does that. Prime example of that is we used to have a a period called advocacy. The advocacy period where each teacher was given 15 to 20 students, and this was a period where you allowed these teachers to interact with the students, to talk about, things that, may help them as students, help them as young ladies and young men. The students were allowed to talk about some troubles they may be having, such as scheduling, getting around campus, to have a one-on-one, a small group interaction with a group of students, to where the teachers were allowed to mentor the students. Well, we tried this, and it was not as successful. I don't want to call it a failure, but it was not as successful as the campus had hoped. So when it came time to do the master schedule, we got rid of the advocacy period, because, to be quite honest, it didn't go as according to plan. How does the campus use innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as learning? Well, okay. How does the campus vision impact morale? Well, campus vision, or campus goals, is what we try to achieve as an entire campus, and the morale is basically how the campus is reacting, how the campus feels, from students to faculty to everyone on campus, what their morale is. I think the questions went well. What would I change? Well, that each person was allowed to talk about their feelings and their thoughts about what's going on campus. That went well. Asking open-ended questions and allowing each person to give their thoughts and their beliefs on how things are working. I think that went well. Now, what I would change is I would ask more pointed questions about what what the different gentlemen thought, and I'd allow them to go into more detail about their particular job titles and duties on campus, so we know exactly who we were speaking with, and we would know exactly who we were speaking with in case the person viewing the video didn't quite remember everything. What was surprising to me is some of the methods that the different gentlemen used to build rapport and build bridges with students. I think that surprised me. I thought all the guys used the same strategies and methods to get closer to the students, to have a better working relationship with individual students, but that's not true. Different guys felt different ways about such things as discipline, as making the students goal-oriented, and some of the ideas they used to motivate different students was a surprise to me. I know all these guys, and I thought I knew, the way they operated within the walls of the school, and that was a surprise to me. This experience would transform my practice as a school administrator, as I think I'd like to get more feedback from my staff. Not necessarily inside the walls of the school or in faculty meetings, but one-on-one conversations, candid conversations about how they feel, how things are going at the school and on the campus level. I think that's something that I use. I try to allow the teachers to speak with me, informally, without putting a wall between myself and them, but allow more people, and to do a lot more listening than talking when it comes to trying to transform the school, because I feel the principal and administration is just an outward expression of the entire school. I think that, what they do and say is a reflection of what the school desires and what the school wants, and I don't want to lose sight of that as administrator.